Hey everybody, welcome back to Leosophy. Got three more questions. Why don't humans have instincts like animals? Um, we do. We totally have instincts. Lots of them actually. Let's see. Language itself. I've mentioned this in a previous video. All babies create every phoneme imaginable, and then they pare it down until they end up developing the language that they hear every day from their parents. So that's cool. And then let's see. A lot of the things that you do every day are really instinctive. They're not based on logic. One of the big ones. This is one that always interests me. Again, I do a lot of marketing, and so the behavior, the evolutionary behavior regarding marketing amazes me. Like you see fruits and vegetables. They're usually misted with water at the grocery store. Why? Because people are instinctively drawn to produce that's kind of wet. And the reason for that is because humans feel safer on a subconscious level, because whenever we would gather food, we would gather it in the late evening or more likely the early morning, because predators are less likely to find you during those hours. So seeing something that approximates like it has dew on the surface of it, that's something that we're just naturally like. An apple looks more delicious if there's like beads of moisture on it. It's really weird. That's instinctive. Similarly, we're drawn to fruits that are dark, fruits that are red, purple. Fruits, on the other hand, that are yellow and white, we're not drawn to. Fruits that are deep colored, like a matte texture, we're very drawn to. Fruits that are shinier, we're not as drawn to. Waxy, you would even say, we're not drawn to. Those are instincts. We have lots of instincts. We have lots of things that keep us safe in the world, even though we've developed a lot of technology and of course, as a species, we're capable of reasoning. A lot of the things we do are instinctive. Phobias, for the most part, are a very instinctive thing. Even though the ones they're learned, the overall response is instinctive. That's why it's not logical. That's why you can't tell someone who's afraid of heights, whoa, you're not going to fall. That bridge is made of glass. It's solid. Like, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter because it's instinct. So, yeah, to answer the question, we do have instincts. Let's see. Man, these are going to be short, because that one was 2 minutes, and this one's going to take like 5 seconds. Why do we only use 10% of our brains? We don't. This is another one like the previous one. Why don't we have instincts? We do have instincts. Why do we only use 10% of our brain? We don't. We use 100% of our brains. That is a myth. I have no idea how it got started. It killed me when that movie came out with was it Scarlett Johansson, and like Morgan Freeman's a scientist, and he's like, we only use 10% of our brains, but she's gonna start using more. It's like, no, we use all of our brain. I have no idea how that got started, but you use 100% of your brain. This notion that like it's kind of, from an evolutionary standpoint, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Like, no, that's not how anything in the natural world would work. That this idea that we've got this amazing unlocked potential that, if you just tweaked our brains a little bit, we'd all be like flipping Brainiac from the old Marvel comics. Or wait, was Brainiac DC or Marvel? I can't remember. I want to say Marvel. Oh man, now I'm gonna have to look that up. That's gonna bother me if I can't remember. I used to read like that kind of stuff all the time as a kid. I'm not one of those people that collect stuff like now. DC. Okay, sorry guys, it was DC. Anyway, yeah. Next question. I am 4 minutes in and I've got 2/3 of the questions. That is amazing. Is water wet? Yes. No, actually it's really not. I'm just joking to make it like a really short answer. Water is not wet, because what wet really means is the qualities that a liquid has in relation to a solid. So water on its own is not wet. I mean, the water's not getting itself wet, obviously. It's just when it responds to a solid, we perceive a condition that we would describe as wet. And how that works is water has a quality called cohesion. Most liquids do, where as they are proximal to one another, water molecules will adhere to one another. And that in and of itself is what causes them to bead up on surfaces that are hydrophobic. Like if you ever wax your car, you'll notice like if it rains on it, they'll just bead up. But what's interesting about that is, like everything else in the world, they respond to gravity. So if you put water on a surface, it's going to run down and drop to the ground, the way gravity works. But because of cohesion, the water is being sort of slowed down by other water molecules, and then on top of that, it's running over an uneven surface. You've got hair on your body, for example. You've got raised up flakes of dead skin that you can't even see without a microscope. You've got uneven ridges because the body itself is very, there's all sorts of contours and asymmetrical parts. And so if one molecule gets sort of stuck by an obstacle like that, because water has compared to a lot of liquids, it's got a relatively low surface area, it's going to just stick, and other molecules are going to adhere to it, and they're going to stick too until they get too heavy and gravity pulls them down. So if there's not enough gravity to pull it down, it just adheres and remains set in place. And if a person is immersed in water and enough of those molecules adhere to them, they're in a state of being wet. So that's how that works. And you can see it. It's really fun to watch it with other liquids because they are affected differently. It's interesting. Like case in point would be mercury. By the way, do not put mercury on your skin. I'm just saying that if you were to get mercury on you, it's such a dense liquid that it's more affected by gravity, and so there's less adhesion, and so it's pretty much impossible to get that condition of being wet with mercury. It's just going to fall right off of you, but water's not going to. And then that's also why we use soap, by the way, because soap has virtually non-existent surface tension, so it just runs right off of us, and any molecules like dirts or oils that happen to get in its way, they're going to get stuck in that soap and they're going to fall off of us too. That's why we use it to clean ourselves. So yeah, really neat stuff. I feel like I should have put 4 questions in the queue because I think I got time for another one, but if I look it up, the time it would take would actually waste more time. So yeah, I guess a thing to take home here is water. The condition of being wet is a result of cohesion. Did I say adhesion earlier? Because I meant cohesion of water molecules and the uneven surfaces of solids like ourselves. So it's not actually a quality that liquid itself has. It's a quality that derives from liquid coming in contact with a solid. So yeah, neat stuff. Can't believe I got 8 minutes in. Like, share, subscribe. Keep asking questions. Bye.